This type of a call is extremely unusual.
Today on the Morning Edition, new information as a hostage nightmare ends in gunfire. Police storm a hotel room filled with children and terrified adults forced to make a split decision. The intense final moments are coming up. Plus,
face to face after a war of words. I'm Jared Hill with what we're expecting as President Trump and President Zelenskyy meet. Plus, the new decision from a judge pausing mass firings.
and later, the Iditarod countdown is on. Mushers meeting fans and preparing for the grueling race ahead. From rookies to champions, we have the starting lineup for Alaska's toughest trail as the Morning Edition starts now. Good morning, everyone. You made it. You are here. We're here with you.
You're here.
Happy Friday. Good morning.
Good morning. And we're going into the weekend.
We are.
With
big weekend.
Big weekend.
Ceremonial start.
Yes, and I will be here making sure that it's on our streaming platforms. It will also be on
So all your questions
Channel
can
2.
be directed to Tracy Sinclair.
Yeah, so we will be here, getting all those dogs on the way.
But, the question weather-wise, warm, it's going to be warm.
Yeah, the little doggies are going to want to take off their coats, and I don't think they can. But we got a little bit of snow yesterday, and some of us who, if we're going to endure a winter with no snow, we might as well at least break records. But yesterday, we got that 0.3 inches of snow for February. That is the only snow that we have seen in February so far. We have a slight chance we'll see a little bit more today, but this leads us tied for the least snowiest February on record. Now, we're pretty safe that we are going to be the least snowiest winter on record. And now for meteorologists, winter is December through February. Not the whole season, because we did get a lot of snow in October and November. So really, we're only for the whole season, we're in the 12th position. So we're not hitting any records there either. This is what it looks like outside the window. 29 degrees out at Stevens International Airport. Very warm as you're getting out and about. Really some light winds into the interior. You're at single digits. Around Fairbanks, 4 degrees. Calm winds for you as well. But you are on the way to a high of 29 degrees. Around the Anchorage area, we're in the low 30s. And we're going to keep these temperatures near that freezing mark overnight over the next several days. 31 here at the station, Merrill Field as well at 31, 32 for J-Bear. So that's putting you right at that freezing mark. Things could be a little bit slick. Your walking and driving surfaces, Muldoon at 30 degrees, Eagle River at 28. Across the state, we are seeing most of the action in the southern portion. We expected, this is the remnants of that system yesterday that's still pushing that rain and snow into south central, southeast as well. You're going to see rain from that system. I don't think we see a lot that makes it over the mountain into the Anchorage area. That's why I think we're pretty low on the chances that we're going to get more snow. But we are seeing that rain moving steadily through Prince William Sound, Whittier. You're likely to see a lot of rain in the next couple of days. And we do have that winter storm warning back in place for those higher elevations around the Klondike Highway and higher elevations around Skagway for snow and blowing snow. Poor visibility coming down. Clear skies right now in northern Alaska. Kotzebue, you're at 1 below, 36 below in Dead Horse, one of the few places holding on to that cold.
New this morning, a high-stakes meeting in Washington. President Trump welcoming Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelenskyy to the White House as this week marks 3 years since the start of the war. And while the leaders have recently reached some compromises, questions remain about how this meeting will shape the war's next chapter. And with Alaska, how these strategic military bases and critical mineral resources, the impact of these talks could reach far beyond Washington. Jared Hill explains.
Working to end a war. Today, President Donald Trump is set to host Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy at the White House.
We're going to get along really well.
But the path to peace is unclear, with Trump refusing to offer solid security guarantees to Ukraine, instead presenting his own form of protection, a U.S. presence in the country to mine for rare minerals. Today's face-to-face comes after the two have traded insults over the past few weeks, with President Trump at one point calling Zelenskyy a dictator.
I can't believe I said that.
It's the latest in a revolving door of world leaders at the White House. Yesterday, with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, President Trump insisted Russia's Vladimir Putin would honor a peace deal, but he again held back on security specifics, despite Starmer's efforts.
The UK is ready to put boots on the ground and planes in the air to support a deal.
Not far from the White House, fired USAID workers were greeted with applause as they cleared out their offices. But there is relief for some of the recently terminated probationary employees. A federal judge ruled those mass firings likely illegal, ordering a partial pause for the White House. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Yesterday's ruling out of San Francisco only covers a handful of agencies, including the Department of Defense, and it remains to be seen what it may mean for workers who have already been terminated. But it's a temporary victory for labor unions representing federal workers as multiple cases make their way through the courts. Well, today could be the last workday for many federal employees. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration may have to fire more workers.
These are folks who monitor extreme weather. We're coming into hurricane season. These are the scientists who help figure out where the hurricanes are coming, how severe they're going to be, whether we're going to have an earthquake, whether we're going to have a wildfire.
That's after it reportedly let go of nearly 5% of staff, or more than 600 staffers yesterday, including meteorologists and engineers. This also could be the last day for some federal workers who took deferred resignations. The White House previously said about 77,000 workers accepted the offers. Critics worried losing so many employees could affect the government's ability to deliver vital services. Well, Alaska is not immune from these cuts. The Alaska Beacon reports at least 1,300 federal employees in the state, most with probationary status, are expected to be fired. That includes more than 300 veterans. Well, as Ukraine marks 3 years of war and President Zelenskyy meets with President Trump later today, Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski is pushing for more support. So this is video of people here in Anchorage that are protesting the war. Murkowski is co-sponsoring a bill that would grant Ukrainians already in the U.S. temporary guest status, allowing them to stay and work until their homeland is deemed safe. Over the weekend, protesters waved flags and they called for an end to the conflict.
I want to provide some additional details for the officer-involved shooting that occurred on February 21st at the Hampton Inn near Tudor and C Street.
Learning more about a deadly officer-involved shooting that happened just 1 week ago at an Anchorage hotel near Tudor and C Street. New details, they are emerging about the terrifying standoff inside and why officers say they had no choice but to open fire. Police say a man barricaded himself in a hotel room with several children and 2 adults, one of whom alerted officers that he was armed. After hours of negotiations, police heard a gunshot. Then the suspect fired through the door. When officers forced entry, they found him holding a woman at gunpoint. He refused to drop the weapon, so police shot him. Police Chief Sean Case called the rescue extremely challenging.
These types of calls are almost impossible, and that, is it time to go in? Is it not time to go in? Is it time to push, time to back off? Is constantly being evaluated, and it, within a second, it can be a wrong move.
No one was hurt except the suspect, and police have not released his name. There is video camera footage of what happened, which Chief Case said will be released within 45 days of the incident. And newly released body camera video, it shows the moments before a Juneau police officer shot and killed 30-year-old Ashley Ray Johnston on Christmas Day. State investigators cleared the officer, and while this may be difficult to watch, it does provide a clearer look at what happened. Olivia Nordyke reports.
The video begins about 5:30 on Christmas morning. Juneau police officers arrived near the Valley Breeze Inn, responding to a call about a woman yelling and threatening people with what police describe as a dual-ended tool with a hatchet. After getting out of the car, we hear officers telling Johnston to drop the hatchet and stop at least 17 times.
Put it down now!
Johnston can be heard telling officers at least 6 times to, quote, shoot. Deputy Chief of Police Craig Campbell says he doesn't know what led up to that moment.
I don't believe that would be her typical behavior, especially, there was no interaction with police prior to that. She definitely seemed like she was upset over something and not sure why she would say those things.
Campbell says officers on scene did attempt to tase Johnston.
If you can taser, taser.
But says the barb hit a lighter Johnston was wearing as a necklace, causing the flames seen on her chest. Campbell says the lack of contact with her body prevented the intended shock from the taser. Approximately 48 seconds after exiting the police vehicle, Juneau police officer Jonah Henning's booth shoots Johnston.
Put down the hatchet! Stop!
Olivia Nordyke, Alaska's news source.
And the officer who fired at Johnston has been cleared by the Office of Special Prosecutions, who report that he was justified in his use of force. Covering the interior in Fairbanks, a man is charged with first-degree sexual assault stemming from an altercation at the downtown Hope Link Warming Center. Court documents say the victim's partner found Sequoia Gage Francis Fields assaulting her after police say that he had claimed he was intoxicated and blacked out. Center leaders are reviewing the case. Francis Fields was previously charged with second-degree murder in 2020, but the case was dismissed after a judge threw it out. We've reached out to his public defender, but have not yet heard back. The Anchorage Fire Department is trying to figure out what caused a multi-family home fire near West 34th and Oregon Drive on Thursday afternoon. The fire department says calls came in just before 1 o'clock. More than a dozen fire units worked to put it out. We're told there are no injuries, but the flames serve as a reminder to make sure that you do have smoke alarms and that they're working correctly.
But in one unit, when we were starting to conduct a search, I noticed a smoke alarm, but only in one of the 6 units did I notice a smoke alarm present.
So they heard it going off?
I heard it. Yeah, I heard a smoke alarm. I can't say if they did or not.
The cause of the fire is under investigation. Be sure to watch for updates on our website or download our free app for news alerts. And still ahead here on the Morning Edition, there's nothing surprising about Alaskans on the ice. But after the break, we will tell you about 2 hometown hockey stars who are grabbing the spotlight at Notre Dame and their journey from the last frontier to college hockey's biggest stage.
And let's take a look at our daylight hours across the state. As you can see, we're almost all above 10 hours. Fairbanks, you reached that milestone today. 8:01 is your start. Is the sunrise today. 6:06 is the sunset. That leaves you with 10 hours and 4 minutes of daylight here in the Anchorage area. We're going to see the sun-ish about 8:01. I'll have your full forecast when we come back.
Welcome back, everyone, on your Friday. Ever feel like you're speaking a different language during an argument? Well, what if you could decode conflict and turn that into connection? Well, in this week's Parenting in the Far North podcast, I sat down with Lena Morgan. She's a retired midwife, communications expert, and author of The Fight Languages. So she breaks down the powerful framework that is helping partners, parents, and so many others navigate conflict with clarity.
I think of knowing all 5 as being able to translate somebody's fight language. That's really what the goal is. You're trying to translate what they're saying or yelling at you loudly to what they really mean behind that. Because what they likely mean is something like, I don't think you understand how I'm feeling. I worry we're getting disconnected. I don't feel safe right now. I'm getting overwhelmed. They're not saying those really helpful phrases, though.
The episode, it is live right now. You can listen to it wherever you download podcasts. It is also on our website and our YouTube pages. And Tracy, that was such a great listen, the podcast. You know, I don't know if you've heard the love languages. Well, she talks about the fight languages and how that can help turn conflict into, you know, more of kind of understanding the person you're with. It's good talk.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting topic because we often do, you know, cooking, it's his love language, that sort of thing. But using those terms for when you're fighting, I mean, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's a good listen, so I encourage everybody to go check that out.
And I know a lot of people listen to their podcast as they're driving around. Great chance. Go ahead. Parenting in the Far North, you want to check it out. Ariane does a great job with these different tips and bits of information. Let's take a look at your weather. We've got a couple things going on. Winter weather advisory back in the western Arctic coast, and we've also got that winter storm warning down in this area around the higher elevations outside of Skagway. That's for heavy snow. This is for blowing snow, reduced visibility, and some really cold wind chills. We're going to see wind chills in the North Slope to 45 below again today. But that is going to change. Just like everybody else in the state, northern Alaska, you're going to see a change and see that warm up coming through. Here's all that heat. You can also see it in the lower 48, and it is moving into the state. So we are going to continue to see warmer temperatures. You can see it moving through the Gulf into the interior, and even up in northern Alaska, you briefly get those oranges, those same colors we're going to be watching in the interior, because when the official start of the Iditarod occurs in Fairbanks, we're going to be above freezing. It's going to be very cold or very warm for the start of the race. Here's that system that we were watching yesterday. It's still impacting the coastal areas of the state. Kodiak, North Gulf Coast down in southeast expecting to get a pretty good amount of rain with this system. Whittier, you as well with this one and the one behind it. Now, we do have another system following along, moving along the similar path. This one has a chance to bring a few snow showers into Anchorage area by Sunday, but I don't think we get to see much coming down, and our temperatures are going to be warm, so likely a rain-snow mix. So talking about how much rain in southeast, just until 11:30 tonight, over an inch in Juneau, Sitka as well, almost an inch and a half in Petersburg, and about 3/10 of an inch around Yakutat. But we'll keep moving forward all the way into Sunday, and we're getting to near almost 2 inches for Juneau. So this is what we expect in southeast today. Most temperatures upper 30s to the mid 40s, but that rain coming through into the interior. Not as much sunshine, mostly cloudy skies for you. Single digits around Fort Yukon, but 29 in Fairbanks. Healy getting all the way up to 35 degrees. That's the first push of this warmth. 15 below still in Deadhorse, so you're holding on to your cold for a couple of more days. Winds picking up a little bit, and as I said, we're looking at wind chills to about 40 to 45 below across the North Slope. Western Alaska, another place losing a bit of sunshine, mostly cloudy skies. Gamble a little bit windy to about 20 miles an hour, also for Unalakleet. Out to the Aleutian Islands, Alaska Peninsula, you're going to see some rain, scattered showers around Cold Bay and Dillingham, and then areas around Unalaska, maybe a few hints of sunshine. Here in South Central, if you're around the coastal areas, Seward, you are expecting to see that rain-snow mix coming through, likely to turn to all rain later in the day. That's what we expect around Valdez and Cordova. Whittier also expecting to see that rain-snow mix turning to all rain. Mostly cloudy in the Matanuska and Susitna valleys with your highs in the mid-40s. Here in Anchorage, we're expecting to get very warm, near 40 degrees today. Saturday also into the upper 30s. And then as we quick glance into the interior, Fairbanks looking at temperatures into the mid-30s. So you can expect to see about 35 for the official start of the Iditarod coming in on Monday. And you know, Ariane, we've been talking about this warmth, and it looks like it's going to stay around for at least the first couple days of the race.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see how that goes down. All right, thanks, Tracy. Well, from the last frontier to the Fighting Irish, 2 Alaskans are making their mark on the ice at Notre Dame. Hunter Strand and Zach Plazinski have spent years chasing their hockey dreams. Well, now they're closing out another season on the big stage. Beth Verge reports.
From the smaller practice sessions to the big game days, 2 Alaskans, Hunter Strand, a forward, and Zach Plazinski, a defenseman, have been teaming up for the past few years, suiting up for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish for their college careers.
I was just trying to play hockey as long as I could, and D1 was obviously a goal, but I understood the sacrifices that my parents were making, and then making Division I and earning a scholarship became my goal, just to kind of level or repay them in some way for what they sacrificed for me.
Both hailing from South Central, they hold close their times in Alaska.
I started hockey when I was 3. My dad was always my coach. He loves the sport. He was always my coach. He never got paid. So, I mean, he invested so much time and and money. And I knew I had to make it up to him. So I just grinded every day. And luckily enough, I was able to make it here. I'm grateful for that, grateful for him.
We get like a month, first half of the summer, and then we come down here for 6 weeks. And then I have kind of the back half, like another month, end of summer, and then a week or 2 at Christmas. So.
Gotta go fishing.
Oh yeah. No, I'm sure the coaches here would like me doing a little less of that when I'm home, but yeah, I definitely try to pack it in every day.
Perhaps one day achieving their dreams of going pro. But for now, celebrating closing out this season at the place they've been calling home.
Hopefully we can go fishing when we get home sometime too.
Senior night takes place in South Bend today as the Irish put a bow on the current regular season with the series against the number 3 Michigan State Spartans this weekend.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcasts from Alaska's news source automatically, and stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.